Hey all, this is Eucep again. Today I'm looking at two of the legends from Rise of the Fallen. In this case it are the twins Skids and Mudflap. These pint-sized versions of them are one of my favorites among the line. They aren't the best looking, they aren't the best among the legends, but for sheer play value they are just awesome. Actually most of the legends are, in terms of playability, quite good, but these guys rank among the highest. Now I will say I do think that Mudflap is a bit superior to Skids in some regards, mostly due to the fact that with Mudflap his head actually locks into that position, while Skids is fairly loose and wobbles about fairly easily. Both don't stand that stable because their feet are actually fairly small, but they stand well enough. But don't put them anywhere where the ground shakes easily or something like that, because they're bound to fall over. As you can see, they are made with the principle of having one giant hand, one semi-normal hand, and they made it pretty successful. It looks better on Mudflap again than on Skids, with both of them having, well, their roofs as giant hands. The one thing which Mudflap has a bit less than Skids are these door wings. On the deluxe I like them, but for the legends they don't work as well. They pretty much transform nearly identical, at least the basic principle is the same, just slightly different execution of it. While most of the legends actually have fairly good articulation, with these guys both have ball joints in their hips, ball joints in their elbows, but their upper arms at the shoulders can only move sideways. At least Skids can move a bit more backwards and such, but it just doesn't work too well. Let's get into some detailing, especially because, well, they're ugly. They're on purpose ugly. They're very, very ugly. While he has some traits of his deluxe version, it doesn't resemble him as well as some of the other legends compared to their deluxes do. Mudflap is a bit better. He's also the uglier of the two in my opinion, especially with those big lips, which are very malformed. Yeah, so let's transform these guys. With Skids, you pretty much press this up and align his arms so they are going to form his roof. Now the thingy here is this hand has to fit into that slot over there, so it's a bit fiddly, but once it's put into place it locks together quite well. You take the legs, peg them together, and at the hips you press them down, and then it's a question of locking the two halves of top and bottom together and pressing it together nicely onto Mudflap. Mudflap has a bit more issues because you can't press in the head fully until you also start to move together these doors, as you can see here. Press them in together and it all locks and fits together quite nicely. Once again, press the feet together at the hips, press them together. Now, Mudflap does suffer a bit more of panel lines than Skids does, but overall I like the vehicle mode of Mudflap a lot more than Skids. Skids looks a bit plain in my opinion, but still fairly nice. He has the suggestion of having headlights, but they only molded in the silver part and there is no actual covering over them. But it works, in my opinion. Mainly due to the paint application, it works. All around, fairly nice, and he does resemble his deluxe version quite well. This is really one of the better alt modes in the Legends line, in my opinion. Mudflap looks a bit more blocky than his deluxe counterpart. It really is, I'd call him chibified, but all in all, like Skids, an excellent alt mode. Paint applications where needed. Just all in all, a fairly nice little Legends. I'm very glad I got them, and I can really recommend to everyone. They are cheap, they are easy to transform, and they are a lot of fun to fiddle around with. This was Eucep. See you next time.